Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Sometimes life puts you on a road tour, detour, and you just got to roll with it until you get to the end of the detour. And that feels like what this day has been, because the Phillies were supposed to be playing right now on 97.3 ESPN FM and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. But instead, we are anticipating the official confirmation from Major League Baseball that the Phillies are going to play around like 7:30, 7:45 tonight. So apparently they are meeting right now to confirm if the weather is going to go as they anticipate it will. So now we will find out exactly any moment now if this game is being played. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you are a Phillies fan, you want this game played, because tomorrow is supposed to be a travel day. Zach Wheeler's on the mound tonight. You want this game played. Mike Gill and I just mentioned it before the end of the Sports Bash. You sign a guy like Wheeler to pitch in games like this. This is why you gave him that big contract, so he can go to the mound on a night like this, stabilize your bullpen, give you 7, 8 good, really good innings, and put you in a position to win and go up 2-0 in a series against your division rival. When the Phillies won that game yesterday, did they barely win it? Yes, they held on 7-6 in the ninth inning. But that game also involved throwing out there Zach Eflin and Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jose Alvarado and Connor Brogdon and Brad Hand. You had like 6, 7 guys pitching yesterday. You need this game tonight. You need to get your best pitcher on the mound. Okay? To pitch and give you some innings. Because here's the problem if this game gets moved to tomorrow. It's a complete and utter nobody knows situation. And then if you play at 1 o'clock tomorrow, which is one of the projections according to reports, you know what happens if you play this game tomorrow? You got to get on a plane, fly to Philadelphia, and play at 4:30 the next day. You want to get the game done tonight, so you fly to Philadelphia, get that day in between to decompress, reset yourself, recalibrate, and then get back on the mound to finish the job this weekend in Philadelphia. To me, I don't want to leave anything to chance. And I understand people feel a little differently about that, but I think that we are not talking enough in sports anymore about the impact of travel on these guys. And here's why I say that. On the Locker Room with Billy Schwein on Sunday's show, we had Dave Klemick on. For those who don't know, Dave Klemick, aside from being Mainland Regional graduate, he was a football star in Mainland, but he played in the NFL. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs under Dick Vermeil years ago. And Klemick brought up an amazing point this past weekend to me, and I was listening. I don't know if anybody else was listening. Maybe I was the only one listening, because he's not the only one who brought this point up in the aftermath of the games on Sunday. The Eagles-Cardinals game, the Giants-Packers game. It was pointed out by Dave Klemick on Sunday morning and later on at night by other people who cover the NFL, the impact of travel on these players and how it looked like some of these guys just didn't have their legs under them. We are getting to a point where we are letting the analytics people dictate common sense to the rest of us. It is common sense that you need a day of travel just to get your body reset. It doesn't matter if you're traveling multiple states or multiple time zones. It's hard to ask anyone, even if you are an elite athlete in prime physical condition, it's hard to ask them to consistently turn it on, hit the switch in a short period of adjustment time. And my concern about the Phillies is if you play the game tomorrow instead of tonight, you know what happens? You could be in a situation where you're not physically or mentally ready for the game. By the way, breaking news, Ken Rosenthal is reporting first pitch 7:30 tonight. That's literally all the tweet says. So it looks like the Phillies game is going to go on as scheduled tonight. That's per Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports and The Athletic. So I'm not seeing anybody else reporting it yet, although Rosenthal tweeted it literally a minute ago. So I'm sure more information is going to be rolling in about this game. But Ken Rosenthal covers Major League Baseball for The Athletic and Fox Sports. He is reporting that the game tonight will be 7:30 p.m. So it looks like that they feel like whatever's going on with the weather down there is going to be cleared up enough for them to get this game in. Because remember, part of the conversation we were having earlier today on 97.3 ESPN on the Sports Bash was the fact that Rob Thompson told the reporters that the goal with this game was to get it in without having to have any interruptions or delays or postponements or anything like that. It was either get the full game in or not at all was basically the goal. And according to Ken Rosenthal, it looks like this game is going to go on tonight, and you will hear it right here on 97.3 ESPN. 97.3 ESPN FM. Per that report by Ken Rosenthal, that means we'll have pregame coverage at 7 p.m. via ESPN Radio. And then Phillies, Braves, Wheeler versus Kyle Wright are the pitchers taking the mound tonight for the Braves and the Phillies. Again, Phillies are reportedly playing tonight, 7:30, according to Ken Rosenthal. He's the one who first reported about 90 minutes ago the scenario that was playing out for the Phillies and Braves to play tonight at 7:30. Okay, he was the first one that I at least saw. I don't know if someone else reported before him, but he was the first one I saw that put out the 7:30 timeline. So it's been a crazy day, but we've gone through all the detours, we've made all the turns, we've followed all the traffic directions, and we will have the game tonight. And of course, Twitter is being Twitter, and people are making fun of Ken Rosenthal because he was so intent on trying to get the first tweet out that all he said was first pitch for game 2, 7:30 Eastern. He didn't say anything else. So now half of Twitter is making fun of him. Poor guy. The guy can't win. He's the first one to report on something, and he can't win. But back to my point about the Phillies. The reason I'm concerned is I think that we are overlooking the fact that in the Giants-Packers game, the Giants got out to London before the Packers did. And Aaron Rodgers and Rasul Douglas were not too thrilled about the fact that they didn't have enough time to adapt themselves to playing on a different time zone in a different country. And they passive-aggressively confirmed after the game that they think that was a reason why they lost the game. Now, there's a lot of information out there that says that people in general need time to recalibrate. Okay? When it comes to travel. You look at the situation when it comes to the Eagles. The Eagles pretty much flew out to Arizona. What was it? Saturday? They wanted one extra day to practice, I guess, in their own building or whatever. But you have to ask the question. You traveled 3 time zones, right? To get out there for that Arizona game. Would it maybe have benefited the Eagles to travel out there instead on Friday, go through a walkthrough on Saturday, and then play the game on Sunday? Maybe. And baseball players, it's a totally different thing than football. Football is as much physical as it is mental execution. I would argue baseball is more mental than physical. But you still need the body to come along with the mind. And my concern was that if you didn't have that extra travel day, you would not be able to recover properly for the weekend. So, but again, the reporting is out right now. John Clark and Scott Lauber are both confirming. Scott Lauber, Phillies beat reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and of course, John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia. They're both confirming the Ken Rosenthal report that this game will be played 7:30 first pitch tonight. You can hear it right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. We'll talk more Phillies and Eagles coming up with Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday. Again, Phillies are supposed to be on right now, but weather pushed them back 3 hours. The game is still on tonight. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Texter chimes in and says, but wouldn't a nice rest in theory only help because the bullpen you are speaking about, we need our bullpen. They gave us 17 outs yesterday, except for the 3-run homer. They were great. Why wouldn't you want to rest them in case Wheeler has a bad outing? Because again, as I said, I'm looking at the after effect of playing a game at 1:00, it finishing around, let's say 4 something. You're not getting on the plane until, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock at night. You're flying into Philadelphia and you're landing at what? 10, 11 o'clock. And you got to play a game in basically 16 hours after that point. I just don't think that situation is ideal. You want the travel day to give these guys a chance to kind of reset their minds, reset their bodies. And frankly, it's a catch-22 when it comes to the bullpen, because did you really need to do it the way you did it? Now, it worked out and it all was all good, right? But could you maybe have brought in somebody else in those earlier innings that wasn't Brogdon, Dominguez, Alvarado, Hand? Could you maybe have brought in somebody else to chew up a couple innings like Gibson or Syndergaard? You're right. The bullpen gave you about 17 outs yesterday. But you're telling me that maybe 3 to 6 of those outs couldn't have been gotten by somebody else, like one of the former starters? It's a catch-22. I don't think there's a right answer with this. But it's a good question by the texter. Dan EHC says, my concern with bad weather is we won't get Wheeler at his best. He's been waiting around, and there might be a bad grip on the ball. Well, they're not playing in the rain, literally, tonight, Dan. The idea is that they were waiting around to let the weather pass. Because the way the radar mapped out, for those who didn't see the radar, and if you get a chance, there's a hilarious video of David Ortiz on Fox Sports, basically doing his meteorologist impersonation, which is hilarious. He's basically up there saying, see this green stuff? That means you need to get your umbrella. Like, it was great. But the way the radar was playing out there's 2 different systems of weather. And the one system is passing through Atlanta from Alabama in the Georgia through Atlanta area right now. There's a window basically from about 7-ish to about 10-ish that there's not supposed to be any thunderstorms. So that's the idea of why they're trying to get the game in this window. Now, I understand, Danny HC, your assumption is not incorrect that Wheeler would pitch tomorrow and the bullpen will get rest today. But what I'm saying is, what about the rest on the back end of the conversation? You need your guys at their best Friday and Saturday if you want to finish off this series. Because guess what happens? If you don't finish off this series Friday and Saturday, you know what happens? You're jumping on a flight and running back to Atlanta for the next day. Because baseball thinks it's okay to go head-to-head with football Sunday. 609-403-0973. Dexter says, can I just say how horrible these times are with these Phillies playoff games? Who can watch a game at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. on a random Tuesday? It's like MLB doesn't want viewers. Well, here's the problem. I don't think it's fully an MLB decision. I think this is partially a television network decision because the television networks pay a stupid amount of money for these games. So if you're going to blame somebody, don't just blame baseball. You got to blame the networks. The networks have deemed that these times are good enough. Not that I agree with them, not that I think they're right. And I agree with you. Some of these times are horrible. Look, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and then 2 o'clock on a Saturday, they're really not good times. Look, you're supposed to be catering to your audience when it comes to sports. And it feels like baseball, and it has basically sold their soul for money and the network is just willy-nilly throwing out times and dates and all this stuff. You're right. There is a feeling that these times are not the best for viewers. Now, there are still millions of people watching these games. So how do we measure this? Do we measure it as more people would be watching if they were better times? Or are we measuring it as people are finding a way to watch the games no matter what time it's on? I don't think there's a right answer to this. I think aesthetically, baseball has to have some conversations about when they play these games. I agree with that. I just don't think that, we can only blame baseball. We got to blame the networks as well, because in many situations, the networks, because they're paying billions of dollars to baseball, is dictating to them some of these game times and dates and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of moving parts. I understand it's not ideal, but you're right. There is a feeling. Doesn't mean feelings are true. What's the old saying? Your feelings can lie. Trust your head, not your heart. Right? Those kind of old sayings. But the truth is that it's not all baseball's fault. It is also it's baseball and the network together putting situations in. And I'm sure that part of the reason why they want to get this game in is because the network wants the game to be played as well. Dave Weinberg will be joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday in about 5 minutes here on 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. A couple more texts I want to squeeze in before we hit the break. Texture says, you need to win first, worry more about rest later. I will rest my boys and have those pitchers rested instead of playing tonight. It's interesting. I'm not saying the idea of not playing tonight is the wrong idea. I just think it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22 between what's more important, the front end or the back end, right? I think that when it comes to the bullpen, I think that you have to ask a lot of questions moving forward. And Mike Gill put the question out there earlier about yesterday's game, actually, not last night, yesterday's game. Zach Eflin or Anthony Dominguez, who are you closing with? And there's no right answer to that question because Your bullpen is full of guys who have big what ifs above their head. The only guys on this team that you're 100% confident in can actually go out there and give you quality pitching is Wheeler and Nola. Everybody else, you're like, well, it's a crazy thing. By the way, I appreciate all the texts. Great conversation we're having. Don't forget Phillies baseball tonight. You can hear the coverage beginning at 7 p.m. thanks to ESPN Radio, and 7:30 first pitch right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Game Night being brought to you by my friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win for the MLB playoffs, for NFL Sunday, for college football Saturday, Thursday night football, Monday night football. The NBA starts next week. Hockey starts this week. Bet, watch, and win with all of those sports. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating over at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We are going to talk with Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday on the other side. All that and more. Josh Hennick hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday night against their NFC East rivals, the Dallas Cowboys.
We circle this date the second the schedule comes out. There's nothing normal about playing against the Dallas Cowboys.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 8:20. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Any trade, any trade, any trade. Bring any trade to Matt Platt Nissan. And AJ the Trade Man will give you more for your trade so you can drive away with peace of mind with Matt Platt Nissan's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Platt Nissan.
So cash in your vehicle now before it's too late and drive home in a new Nissan today. It's on at Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Hi, I'm Larry Mintz. When dealing with a workers' compensation claim, in most cases, the injured worker doesn't get the money they're entitled to. That's why you need the right lawyer. When injured on the job, call us first. We'll speak with you for free and get you all the money and benefits you deserve.
Make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Phillies baseball tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. thanks to ESPN Radio. 7:30 p.m. is first pitch. Yeah, Phillies have moved their game about 3 hours because, well, apparently this is the window for them to get the game in. As we mentioned earlier, baseball did not want to start a game and then stop it and then restart it. They want to get a game in, get it done, And then these guys have a travel day tomorrow, and the series resumes Friday and Saturday in Philadelphia. So we weren't planning on talking to Dave Weinberg today, but Dave has been kind enough to shuffle around his schedule because at the end of the day, Dave, baseball, the game must go on, even at the start about 3 hours later. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Josh. How are you?
Dave, that was my bad. I did not have the board set properly, so I had no idea what you just said there.
I just said I'm doing well. How are you?
Really good. It's always fun when the audience can hear Dave, but I can't. That's always a good time. The audience is probably, I heard Dave just fine. So Phillies, they're playing tonight. First of all, let's get into where this series. I know you're a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the game yesterday? Because they used like half of their pitching staff yesterday to win the game, and now tonight they got Wheeler on the mound.
They absolutely had to have game one if they want to win this series, I think. And that was just the fact that, you did have to go through some pitchers, but in the end, it was well worth it. I mean, Nick Castellanos with a fantastic catch, very powerful at the plate as well. So, yeah, I mean, that was a big win for the Phillies. And that gives them a lot of momentum going into game two, I think.
When you think about momentum, how much of momentum do you think is also the fact that you have Wheeler on the mound? Like, it's one thing to win game one, and then it's, Kyle Gibson or Noah Syndergaard or even Ranger Suarez going. But how much of it is we won game one and our best pitcher now is going in game two?
Yeah, I mean that's what gives you the momentum. The fact that you were able to get a win without using your aces, which are Wheeler and Nola. So now you got those two guys coming up. You already have a 1-game lead. I think that sets up pretty well. I mean, the thing's gonna, and baseball being what it is, anything can happen on a given day. So who's to say the Braves don't hit 8 home runs tonight and win that game? But yeah, I mean, I think that's a real confidence booster for them. The fact that they were able to get a win without using Wheeler and Nola yet.
Now, the conversation we were having before we came on, I want to loop you into it, Dave, is,
Sure.
The idea that if they didn't play the game tonight, the game was going to be played tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And my position was I wanted the game played tonight because I think you need that travel day to kind of hit the reset button, get everybody back to Philadelphia, because they would have played the game tomorrow. The game ends around 4 o'clock, let's say. You're on a plane at 7, and you're playing the very next day at 4:30. It's a real tight turnaround.
Yeah, I don't think it's that pivotal though. I mean, they're used to playing games, in a row without an off day. I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal. It doesn't I don't think it affects the pitching staff necessarily that much anyway. You still have Nola ready to go for the next day, I think. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Wheeler and then Nola after that. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't place a whole lot of emphasis on it. I mean, it's great that they're going to get it in today and you get that day off, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary to have a day off in this.
Gotcha. I mean, part of the reason why I thought it was because I was talking with Dave Klemick from Mainland on Sunday.
Yep.
And Dave mentioned the fact that he felt that part of the reason why the Giants won that game over the Packers and the Eagles didn't look as good versus the Cardinals was because he thought that those teams traveled too close to the start of the game, and he thought that there might be some dead legs. So I was wondering, could that maybe be a situation for baseball players too, where the turnaround might be a little tight on
them? Two completely different animals, I think, Josh. I mean, football is such a physical, grueling game. You need all the rest that you can get. Baseball, not quite as physically taxing, I don't think. I mean, it's more physically demanding than people think, but still, I think football is a completely different entity there.
What do you do with the ninth inning? If it's 3-2 tonight in the ninth inning, what is Dave Weinberg doing?
I don't know if I'm going with Eflin or not. I guess you have to. I don't know. I mean, boy, that's a tough call. I don't know. Who else do you have available here?
Well, here's the problem. Thompson earlier today said that he expects Dominguez to be available, whatever that means. Okay. So you're expecting, to me, it's a yes or no question. He is or isn't available, right? But whatever.
Right.
Half the team pitched yesterday, so I'm assuming that it should be all hands on deck for the game tonight. So I'm assuming that somebody else could be available if you plan it out. But Dave, the problem was you brought Dominguez in earlier in the game. You brought Hamden Alvarado in earlier in the game. There's no Dave Robertson on the roster because he injured himself celebrating.
It's just ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, baseball is infamous for ridiculous injuries, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, wasn't it Gary Sheffield who hurt his back putting his kid in the back seat of the car or something like that? Like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, but anyway, I don't know what the answer, right? I don't think there is a right answer, Dave. I really don't.
Well, one of the things that really troubles me about this kind of stuff is that, I mean, you're going to be asked to pitch one inning. It's not like you have to go 9. I mean, you can't really, you can't warm up enough to put one inning in. Your arm is that tired that you can't do one inning. That's the thing that always baffles me about baseball. Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm not available today because I pitched 2 innings yesterday, or I pitched an inning 2 days in a row. I mean, come on, really? You can't go out there and give one inning or even a couple batters if that's what you have to do. I don't get it.
Well, the other thing is it's the playoffs. It's one thing if we're talking about like July 22nd, you know, but to me, like it's October 12th. This is what you play for, right? Like this is the moment.
Absolutely.
It's put up or shut up time.
Absolutely right. Go give it your best. Now you don't have you can rest all off season. Now just get out there and get it done.
Do you think the Phillies win the series, Dave?
Well, I picked the Braves in 4 originally, and I guess I have to stick with that. I mean, the momentum is certainly going with the Phillies right now, and you know, getting that first game is big. I mean, I certainly won't be shocked if the Phillies win this, but I think a lot depends on what happens tonight. If the Braves get the win, that kind of evens things up again, you know, and the Braves will have that game 5 at home if it comes to that. Boy, it's tough. I'm going to stick with Atlanta. But I think it'll go 5 games, not 4.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday, an impromptu edition of Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN. Phillies game moved from 4:30 to 7:30. You can hear Phillies and Zach Wheeler versus the Braves and Kyle Wright tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM. Dave, the other side of the coin is it's the infamous Dallas week, Eagles versus Cowboys this Sunday. And look, I said the other day, Dave, I felt like people would be more interested in the Phillies early in the week, but as the week progresses, people will start turning their attention to Eagles and Cowboys. And I got to admit, I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see the tweets. I'm starting to see the people's attention changing. Not that they don't care about the Phillies, but it's kind of like the week is building up to the Sunday Night Football showdown.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like it or not, Philadelphia is a football town. I mean, yeah, they certainly do care about the Phillies now. You know, the crowd's fans are really into it. But, yeah, this is Eagles, and this is Eagles-Cowboys. It makes it even more intense, more important, more exciting. So, and it's in Philly. Yeah, it's a huge game. And, yeah, there's no doubt that all the focus will be on Eagles-Cowboys, and maybe, if not tomorrow, but certainly the next day.
What do you think is going to be the biggest key for this game? Is like there's something like a player, a matchup? Is there something that stands out to you, Dave?
Well, a lot depends, I guess, who Cowboys quarterback is. Is it going to be Cooper Rush? I guess
supposed to be Cooper Rush. That's
okay.
Yep.
Then I think the emphasis is on him. I mean, he's been pretty much like a game manager up to this point, but I think he's got to be more than that against the Eagles if the Cowboys want to win. I mean, they're playing very well. They beat the crap out of the Rams, and conversely, the Eagles have struggled a little bit, but I think they'll be at their best for their best game, being having the home crowd on their side and that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of it has to do with if you can force Cooper Rush you have to shut down their running game, make sure he has to make some plays. That I think that's the biggest key for the Eagles.
My big thing with this game is, Dave, I don't think people realize that this is probably going to be a defensive battle.
Absolutely.
These are 2 of the top 7 teams in points allowed. They're 2 of the top 7 teams in fewest total yards allowed. They're the top 2 of the top 3 teams in quarterback hurries and quarterback hits. I mean, this might be like, I don't know, 10-7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's good. I don't know if it'll be that low, but yeah, it'll definitely be a defensive battle. I mean, the Cowboys defense is just playing lights out right now. And Micah Parsons is just out of this world. He's on another level to me, and the rest of their defense isn't too shabby either. But yeah, the Eagles are kind of like deceptively effective defensively. I mean, they give up some stuff. I'm a little concerned though with the way Jonathan Gannon approached the game the other day, reverting to that kind of like that vanilla soft.
Passive.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it on Sunday night.
My big thing is, and I agree with you, Gannon, he frustrates me, but some of those missed tackles, I mean, I don't know what's going on sometimes. I mean, that Marquise Brown touchdown, there was like 3 missed tackles on that play. Yep. Like at some point, it's like, I mean, we're 5 weeks into the season. Like you can't use the no preseason excuse anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's time to put up or shut up. But you're right. If you're a professional football player, you got to make tackles. There's no doubt about it. And TJ Edwards had a rare off day against the Cardinals. I thought he's been usually a very reliable tackler. Never seldom misses, and he missed a couple on last Sunday. So I would expect him to bounce back, and hopefully for the Eagles fans, hopefully their defense will bounce back as well.
When you think about, you mentioned Micah Parsons, Dave, you've seen a lot of football. You covered a lot of football. You covered the Eagles for over 25 years. So I'm going to ask you this in this context. Micah Parsons is the best defensive player not in an Eagles uniform that you have seen since who?
Oh, boy. Oh, you're going to put me on the spot here. Man, that covers a lot of territory. Man. Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I didn't cover him in person, but I actually saw him. I'm sure there's guys since then that have been, impactful, but just off the top of my head, that's the one that really sticks out. Just the way that Parsons just impacts the game more than like anybody I can remember in recent memory. He's just like, they line him up all over the place. He creates havoc all over the place. Rushes the quarterback, stuffs running backs, picks off passes. He's just the total package.
I mean, my answer was Darrelle Revis when I was asked that question.
Oh, okay, yeah, actually, that's a good pick. Yep.
Because to me, with Revis he was the one guy. I don't remember seeing a lot of guys. Like the only guy before him I remember it being like this was Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
where literally a guy who was not on the D line was changing how the other team game planned.
Right. Yeah, you just stuck him on one guy, or you're their best receiver, and you knew that guy wasn't going to do anything. That's true.
Because it's funny because, like you mentioned, Lawrence Taylor. The problem with guys who have been out there, and this is nothing against the guys I'm going to name, but the problem is that guys like the Cowboys had DeMarcus Ware for all those years. You had a guy like Jason Taylor down in Miami. You had a guy like Ray Lewis in Baltimore. You had a guy like Sean Taylor in Washington for a couple of years. Yep. And no offense to any of those guys. I mean, even go back to, someone like who was the one guy in the drawing a complete blank. The one guy who played. No, I'm going with the D lineman who played for the Cowboys and 49ers.
Charles Haley.
Thank you, Charles Haley. That's what I'm thinking of. Like all these guys were special, right? But they all had there was a week or two here or there, but they just weren't as impactful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a game where Micah Parsons' fingerprints are not on it.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. I mean, I'm sure he's had some not so great games. I haven't seen every game, but the ones that I've seen, he makes a play or 2 or 3 or 10. I mean, he's just a difference maker. He really is. It's a shame that the Eagles didn't take him. No offense, but it's.
Well, the problem is if you would have taken him, you would have had Devonta Smith.
Right. I think I'd rather have.
You'd rather have Parsons.
Yeah. No offense to Devonta Smith, but yeah.
Don't worry, I won't tell him. Okay. This is the last game before the Eagles bye week. So at this state of the season, what is the Dave Weinberg progress report on the Eagles? Because not many people thought they would go undefeated to start this season. Maybe
No,
it was just
nobody did.
only the Eagles themselves who thought it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've certainly surpassed expectations, no question about it. Granted, there's still a long way to go, but I mean, so far, I mean, undefeated. You can't argue with that. And they've struggled here and there, but they found a way to get it done. And people talk about the Phillies' resiliency. That applies to the Eagles as well. They're just it's been ugly at times. But they've always found a way to get the W. And you can't help but be impressed with that. Jalen Hurts is playing at an MVP level, and other guys that certainly other guys have also contributed and stepped up. I mean, AJ Brown, he was kind of a non-factor the other night, which I was kind of surprised to see. But he's the other day. I'm sorry, but he's been a difference maker. Defense has played much better than I expected, and so yeah, you can't help but be impressed with the way they've performed so far.
Before I let you go, David, I'm only asking this because I can see on the video the pullover you're wearing. So does Matt Rule? Does Matt Rule, now that he's fired from Carolina, does he go to Arizona State, Nebraska, or television?
Oh boy, that's a tough. That's an intriguing proposition. Arizona State should be interested in him. I mean, at least give him the. He's probably more of like a Nebraska type guy, but yeah. I mean, Arizona State. I'd be thrilled if you went out west to Tempe. I mean, that'd be a huge get for the Sun Devils. I mean, I feel bad that Herm Edwards' tenure turned out the way it did, but yeah, Herm has to be near the top of the list as far as contenders there. I think. I don't know if he's much of a TV guy, honestly. I think it's hard, but then again, he's getting paid, I guess, right, by Carolina.
I mean, he's getting paid $40 million. Well, it's weird because I don't know if, for those who don't know the story. So apparently, he gets paid $40 million, except for when he signs another contract, and the money he makes for the other contract gets deferred from the $40 million.
I'm not following you.
So, like, for example, if he got, a $20 million contract from Arizona State,
right?
So that's 20 less million he will get from the Panthers.
But he still have 40 million, right? Just 20 and 20.
Right, just 20 and 20. So it won't be
well,
like
if you're not, if you're not losing any money, then you'd be foolish not to at least seriously consider. I mean, I know a lot of guys like to take a year off, like Doug Peterson being one, to just recharge their batteries or what have you. But other guys just jump straight from one job to the next, and I think Arizona State should seriously pursue that. Did you know he's a Cape May resident, by the way? Matt Rule, summer resident.
I didn't know he was a summer. I know he was at Temple for a long time. So.
Yeah, he actually has a house in Cape May. I've seen kayaking and out in the harbor.
Nice
during the summer. Yeah.
Nice guy. I knew he was a Penn State grad and former Temple coach. I knew that. So.
Okay, very good.
But I could always rely on Dave Weinberg to tell me who is and has not been in Cape May. So
there you go.
Dave Weinberg's Extra Point columns are over at 973ESPN.com. Follow him on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. And he joined us here for a Weinberg Wednesday impromptu edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, enjoy the Phillies game, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, thanks, Josh. I appreciate you having me on such short notice. Talk to you next week.
Thank you. Yeah, Dave was kind enough to shuffle around his schedule to jump on with us for a Weinberg Wednesday. Coming to the other side, excellent text that just came into the text board about 6 minutes ago. I'm going to read that text and more of your feedback on the other side. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, your home for Eagles football, Sixers basketball, Flyers hockey, the Major League Baseball playoffs. Phillies coverage begins at the top of the hour, thanks to ESPN Radio, 7:30 p.m. First pitch, Game 2, Phillies Braves tonight.
The Sports Bash has you covered with the best Phillies coverage in South Jersey on 97.3 ESPN Radio, on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Here comes the pitch, and he swings and sends it to right field, getting a late jump on it. Castellanos, he dives. Oh, what a catch by Castellanos! Came charging in, and about 6 inches off the ground, he dove and was able to get the glove underneath the ball. Not known for his fielding. What a play by Nick Castellanos.
It's the best Phillies coverage in South Jersey, and it's right here on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Dardo, last chance. And on the ground, Shortstop over to make the play. Sosa to first, got him. Wow. The Philadelphia Phillies and Zach Eflin survive
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Are you getting hit hard by low trade offers?
Ouch, that was a blindside.
That's a personal foul. Don't get blindsided by low trade offers. Bring any trade to Matt Platt Kia. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow. Select from hundreds of new and certified Kias.
It's gotta be a Matt Platt Kia.
Matt Platt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Hi, I'm Dan Tracy. I'm a workers' compensation attorney. At Goldenberg Mackler, we've handled thousands of workers' compensation claims over the years. Our experienced attorneys understand the law and will fight to get you the benefits that you deserve. When injured at work, make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us, on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday night against their NFC East rivals, the Dallas Cowboys.
We circled this date the second the schedule comes out. There's nothing normal about playing against the Dallas Cowboys.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 8:20. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station. Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by friends over at Jenkins & Sons, when the 97.3 ESPN studio needed to be temperature controlled. No more fluctuating, freezing cold, sweating hot for me in the studio. No, Jenkins & Sons came in and installed a unit to make the 97.3 ESPN studio comfortable. That's who we called, and you should too. You don't need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air systems, air conditioning systems, I should say, service and maintenance, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing, and drain cleaning services. Call 609-641-6262. Visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. When I tell you, there was a time that there were days I come in here and I'd be shivering, and other days I'd be sweating. I mean, there were weeks that the thermostat would range from 82 to 62, and it was ridiculous in this studio. Well, Jenkins fixed that for us. Couple texts I want to get to. First of all, Dan in EHT chimes in at 609-403-1073. Says, come on, Josh. Gibson cannot pitch unless there's completely a blowout or they're winning by double digits. See, here's the problem, Dan EHT. And I think, again, this is an example. We talked with Andy McNamara yesterday in Game Night that the narratives create perception sometimes. Kyle Gibson has allowed 94 earned runs in 31 starts this season. But what if I told you that 62 of those 94 earned runs were in 11 of his 31 starts? That means in his other 20 starts, Gibson allowed a grand total of 32 runs. So in 20 starts, he was giving you good outings. In 11 starts, he wasn't as good. So I don't think he's horrible. I don't think you can't not let him pitch. I mean, would Kyle Gibson really have been worse off yesterday if he came in the 5th, 6th, or 7th innings than what Zach Eflin gave you in the 9th inning yesterday? If your answer is yes, he would have been worse for you than what Eflin did yesterday when he gave up 3 runs in the 9th inning, then okay. I can understand that that's where your position is, where you're coming from. But I just don't know if Gibson or Syndergaard are giving you anything less or worse than what Eflin gave you yesterday. Now, does it mean that Eflin can't pitch? No. Does it mean that Eflin can't, be a solid relief pitcher moving forward for the rest of this postseason? I'm not saying anything at all. I'm just saying that don't hate on Gibson. He's not great, but he's not bad either. All right, I promise I get to this great text. So this texter chimes in. I wish I could give you credit if you left your name, but it's anonymous. So Mr. Anonymous says, my key to Sunday is, will the Eagles be silent in the 3rd and 4th quarters offensively? The Eagles have gotten leagues and the offense goes into passive mode. Excellent, excellent point by the texter, because we have spent so much time focusing on stuff that, has, impacted individual games. But I think we're missing a bigger picture. There have been a lot of 3rd and 4th quarters where Hurts is throwing the ball and guys have dropped it. There have been missed assignments and blocking. Kenneth Gainwell has not been good as a pass blocker this season. I don't know why that is. I wish I had a better answer for why Gainwell is just such a bad blocker, but he has not been good this year at multiple points in time. I think that there's a lot of issues with this team when it comes to the second half. And I think it has to do with individual players. Maybe they're getting comfortable. Maybe they were all focused in, the first half or the first 3 quarters, not the 4th quarter. I don't know what it is, but the texter's right. There is, it's Andrew in Summers Point. Andrew, great text there. Thank you for dropping your name there. You have to ask the question, if you're an Eagles fan, why does this team not give you the same level of production in the second half of the game that they give you in the first half of the game? Why are you making an amazing catch, Devonta Smith, in the first half of a game, but dropping the ball in the second half, right? Why are these guys making tackles in the first quarter but missing them in the second quarter? It's going to be a huge part of the conversation moving forward if this team continues to practically disappear in the 3rd and 4th quarter, especially offensively. All right, thanks, Dave Weinberg, for the impromptu joining the show. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Phillies baseball coverage next, Game 2, here on 97.3 ESPN FM. All right, real quick before we get out of here, this is for the YouTube only crowd. I know I haven't done a post show for a while. So I wanted to give you guys a little taste because I got to, things to take care of. But I want to share a thought with everybody out there who's watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. I appreciate everybody who watches the post show here on YouTube. I want to just ask the question. I want to ask the question, do we genuinely believe? And I want to leave that open-ended. There's a huge difference between someone like me saying, I think a team is going to win a game, and I think a team is going to win a championship. And I think right now, in the 2 main sports that are being played right now, football and baseball, you cannot, without a shadow of a doubt, with full confirmation, tell me that any team is the prohibitive favorite to win. There's a flaw in every baseball team in the postseason. There's a flaw in every football team playing in the NFL right now, at least one. And I think that we should appreciate the fact that there's so much parity, there's so much commonality, I guess you would call it, when it comes to the sport, because it doesn't happen very often. You know, and I don't know if this is an aftermath of, the COVID lockdowns or people getting smarter in their talent evaluation, but whatever the reason is, I think we as sports fans need to appreciate that day in and day out, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's opportunity to win or lose. And when you do win them, you be grateful, because it's becoming harder and harder to win in sports. There's more and more parity. There's more and more players and teams that are on equal footing. It's not like it used to be. It used to be the haves and the have-nots. And now everyone has something. And it's exciting and it's fun. And I'm a fan of it. I like to see competition. And I know some people, they don't like the idea that, there's so much low scoring games. They don't like the idea that, the Jets can beat the Dolphins on a Sunday because either you have money on the game, or because, they beat your favorite team, or because, it's a spitting in the face of someone's personal theories about sports. I tend to believe that, we all have to grow and mature as sports fans and analysts. And part of that is understanding that the dynamics have changed. And the reason why that, for example, when you hear me do my picks, I've gotten so many under bets right this season, is because of the fact that I'm taking the sport as it is, and I'm not taking it as I want it to be. And those are two different things. I'm Josh Hennig. This has been Game Night. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. And I'll be back tomorrow for a normal Game Night show on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, right here on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great everybody.